How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Russell Westbrook and OKC have been eliminated from the playoffs the first 3 seasons, all in the first round. After the departure of Kevin Durant, many wonder if Russ will ever have what it took to lead his team to a successful playoff run as the leader of the franchise. Well, he's failing miserably. After blowing a 15-point lead with 7 minutes left against Portland in Game 5, that's totally unacceptable. And it's only getting worse. Having 4 years left in his max contract, his game has regressed this season, and he's 30 years old. He won't be getting any better. So what's next for Russell Westbrook and the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Looked at as contenders before the season started, with Paul George committed to stay in OKC, stating him and Russ have some unfinished business to take care of. The Thunder were viewed as one of the biggest threats to Golden State, and many thought they would advance to the conference finals. But the post-Durant era has been an absolute nightmare for Westbrook, who will likely never win an NBA championship with his style of play. There was absolutely no excuse to lose to Portland in 5 games without their starting center in Jusuf Nurkic. If it went to a close 7-game series, losing on the last second shot, that's okay, but Russell Westbrook teams have continuously failed miserably every year in the postseason. With his playoff legacy at stake, Damian Lillard gave it to him, demolished Russ in what was supposed to be one of the best individual playoff rivalries. Dame totally owned him. Not only did Lillard prove he's the better player going forward, but is a way better leader, a better teammate, easier to play with, and play smarter. Close out the series with one of the most incredible cold-blooded game winners I have ever seen. Russell Westbrook should feel humiliated, having the audacity to mock Dame in Game 3 simply heavily outplayed him and destroyed him. One of the most polarizing stars of the decade, I love the way Russell Westbrook competes, always gives 110% effort each and every time, looking to annihilate his opponents, as intense and competitive as anybody of his generation. You can certainly argue nobody in the NBA plays as hard and relentless as Russell Westbrook. His passion and commitment to the game should never be questioned. At a young age, Russ had to prove many doubters wrong, was barely recruited in college, given a chance at UCLA, Westbrook developed that competitive fire at a young age, always played with a chip on his shoulder, viewed as a great guy off the court, and well respected by many teammates as a person. But on the court, his emotions gets the best of him at times, and because he only knows how to play one way, at one speed, at 100 miles an hour, it's very hard for him to adapt and stay disciplined. That's why it's very difficult for a coach and his team to trust him, never knowing what you can expect from his emotions and how he will respond. This past season, his attitude was at an all-time low, having multiple altercations on the court with many guys over minor stuff not needed. It's all part of the game, but unnecessarily shoved Klay Thompson after a missed call, the least confrontational guy in the NBA. Did it all out of frustration because of how bad he was playing. It's just getting excessive and out of hand, getting into it with fans and the media. Every player has a reason to dislike somebody in the press that writes negative stuff about them, but part of an NBA player's responsibility is talking to the media and answering tough questions. Even after a tough loss, many star players handle those tough questions with professionalism, respect, and class. And with Westbrook's immature act saying, next question, that's absolutely disrespectful and unacceptable. If it wasn't for the millions of fans around the world watching the NBA and the amount of media coverage the players get, he wouldn't be getting over $200 million. He might have beef with 1 or 2 guys in the media that says mean stuff about him. When the questions get personal, he has the right to call them out, but if it's basketball related, it's his duty and responsibility to respond and answer those questions because the fans want to hear from him. That's also why he gets paid the big bucks with everything that involves an NBA star, and now he has Paul George, who's one of the most likable guys in the league, copying him, responding to the media saying next question. That's a really bad sign, and Steve Kerr was absolutely right when he says Russ' response is dangerous for the league, especially for a veteran player in his 30s. He has to know better, and that behavior is absolutely unacceptable and very immature at all levels, leads to a terrible example for the young players and guys who look up to him. That's not how a leader who's the face of his franchise should be acting. No wonder why Kevin Durant left OKC and decides to play with Steph Curry, one of the best leaders in the NBA, who's the total opposite of Westbrook. OKC could have been the dynasty if Sam Presti would have just paid James Harden a little bit more, but traded him away, eventually became MVP, who's easily better than Russell Westbrook right now. Another MVP and Kevin Durant left for nothing. During Game 4 of the 2012 Finals, Russ had an unbelievable 43-point performance, but committed a stupid foul with 13.8 seconds left after a jump ball where Miami was only up 3, cost his team the game, ended up down 3-1, losing the series in 5. After KD went off in Game 1, Russ wanted to be the star that shined brightest, was terrible in Game 2, took terrible shots, scored 27 points on 26 shots. Magic Johnson was furious with Russ. said that was the worst point guard performance he has ever seen in the NBA Finals. In the conference finals in 2014, KD and Russ only got far because of their talent. Basically played one-on-one basketball, your turn, my turn, with no ball movement. That's why they lost to San Antonio. As good as Westbrook is, who's not a great shooter, there's no reason why he should be taking more shots than Kevin Durant, who's the best scorer in the NBA. That's why KD's frustration continued to build. The same way how OKC collapsed to Golden State in 2016 after blowing a 3-1 lead, Russ got sloppy with the ball, goes too crazy, dribbling in traffic, often turns it over. No matter how talented the team is, him running the point, playing that selfish brand of basketball will never win a championship. Durant wanted a better system, playing team ball, and fit in flawlessly with Golden State, while Russ and PG in crunch time continues to play hero ball, just like how KD and Russ used to do it. The your turn, my turn style fails every time against great teams in the postseason. His triple-double numbers are impressive, averaging one for 3 straight seasons, might never be done again. But most nights, his numbers are deflated when he stands in the lane trying to snatch every rebound to box out, pads his stats, and thankfully, his teammates are nice enough to allow him to snatch those boards. Those opportunities always leads him to a quick assist on one end, even gets angry when his teammates don't shoot it after he passes to them. Makes you wonder if he really cares more about his stats than winning games, playing team ball the right way. His accomplishments will make him one of the most iconic players in the history of the NBA, but he won't be remembered as highly as the stars in his era like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Steph Curry. Now Paul George, who's clearly the best player on his team going forward. I give Russ credit for making PG the focal point of the offense and engaging more with his teammates this season, realizing he can't do it alone. If PG decided to take his talents elsewhere, OKC would have been a disaster and wouldn't even have made the playoffs. For much of the last 3 seasons, after Durant left to join Golden State, everybody wanted to cheer for Russ to succeed. While most people will never forgive Durant's decision, he's arguably the best player in the game right now, potentially on the verge of winning his 3rd straight Finals MVP as a top 15 player the game has ever seen, and Westbrook's left behind collapsing seems to be getting angrier by the minute. The OKC front office made amazing draft picks, but did a horrible job managing the team, with 2 of the top 4 players in the NBA right now excelling elsewhere, and Westbrook, who's no longer a top 10 player in the league, is owed over $171 million the next 4 seasons, a complete disaster of a contract. Lost 15 of his last 19 playoff games, dating back to blowing the 3-1 lead against Golden State, is a pathetic 4-12 overall in the postseason after KD left, having averages of around 30 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, but very inefficient, shooting under 39% from the floor, often gets out of control, easily gets frustrated, and expends too much energy early in the game. Instead of viewing the playoffs as a sprint, it's a marathon. That's why he struggles late in games, missing badly on many shots. I don't blame him for losing to Houston in 2017, since the Rockets were clearly the better team, but there was absolutely no excuse whatsoever that he lost to Utah last season, getting distracted and triggered by Ricky Rubio. Instead of focusing on team success, he said he guaranteed he was going to lock him up the next game. Instead of looking at the big picture for the better of his team, had his angry emotions turned against him. After picking up silly fouls, Rubio, who's the most average point guard in the NBA, got into his head that easily. Russ picked up careless offensive fouls, altering the results of the game and series with his anger, was outdueled and outclassed by rookie point guard Donovan Mitchell, who looked like the real veteran on the floor. OKC was favored to win that series, with Utah having no all-stars, but everybody decided to put the blame on Melo. Fast forward a year later, Melo's no longer with the team. Paul George's not 100% healthy, but putting up his usual numbers, while Russ continued to miss shots, shot under 36% for the series. Portland's game plan was to leave him open, which worked to their perfection. This shows evidence that Russ is no longer a number 1 option on a contender, absolutely deserves most of the blame for his team's playoff failures with high expectations. A first round exit as the favorite in back-to-back years is inexcusable. Lillard made him eat his words when Russ tried to get personal, mocked him after game 3 when OKC was down 0-2. He shouldn't be the one mocking in the first place, hit a 3 in the second quarter of game 4 and expended his energy reacting that early in the game. If he was disciplined enough, he wouldn't be doing such acts, acting like like he just hit a big time shot when there was still plenty of time left in the game, continues to play erratic, minimizes the contribution of his supporting cast with his reckless decisions and stat padding efforts that's not contributing to playoff wins. He just finished his 11th season and still hasn't learned to control his style of play, has already lost some athleticism, not a good shooter. As much as fans want to defend Russell Westbrook, his first round disappointments are no longer defensible. The team going forward won't have much money to sign a big free agent. After giving Russ and PG the max, Steven Adams will be owed $26 and $27 million. Teams likely won't trade for him, especially not for stretch bigs who's more valuable in today's game. OKC doesn't have any good 3-point shooters outside of George. Losing in the first round consecutively just doesn't cut it. As much as Russ has accomplished with the franchise, I consider trading him, exploring all my options. For example, trade him to the Lakers for Lonzo, Kuzma, and a draft pick. I absolutely do that in a heartbeat. His value will continue to go down every season, with his body already starting to break down, doesn't adapt, and likely will end up having a similar career ending like Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony. Unless he changes his game like how Jason Kidd did towards the end of his career and becoming a reliable outside shooter, Russell Westbrook will not have a friendly exit out of the NBA. OKC will continue to get bounced in the first round every year going forward. Unless Russ can fully control the pace, not play so reckless, we'll need more 3-and-D guys to cover up for his defensive flaws as he ages, like a Chris Middleton caliber player. We'll also need another 20+ point scorer. Since he's too inefficient at this stage of his career, some nights he'll go 4 of 20 and score only 12 points. He'll need to take a step back, be the third scoring option for the better of the team, and look to facilitate properly instead of just chasing assists just to increase his numbers. But after seeing his attitude this past season, it's very unlikely Westbrook will fix those flaws, and when he finally does, I'm afraid it'll be too late.
How do you guys think the rest of Russell Westbrook's career will play out? I know I've been very critical of him this video. I do want him to succeed. I don't dislike him at all. But he's got to be able to change his game for the better of his team. Do you guys think he'll ever get past the first round without Kevin Durant? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I talk NBA comparisons, amazing storylines, NBA history, and anything basketball that will interest you. If you love the NBA, subscribe for more content, more great stuff coming soon. I love all of you. See you next time.
Here we go. Westbrook will tie at 115 on the drive. No good. Portland immediate rebounds. They have a chance to win it. Lillard, 12 seconds. Can the Blazers advance to the semis? Will OKC be eliminated for the 3rd straight season? It's Damian Lillard time. Lillard against George. 3 seconds. Dame, 2 seconds from way downtown. Ah!